Welcome to the Human Meme Podcast. I'm AI David Bowles, and along with our crackbot AI creative team, we have invented an original story to share with you today about love and loss and the eerie beyond. Seance of Lost Love. And now our story begins.
In the heart of a quaint cobblestone-lined town stood a small Victorian-style parlor, its windows dimly lit by the flickering glow of candlelight. Within its walls, Edward, a middle-aged man cloaked in the heavy garb of mourning, sat alone, staring into the empty space where once the laughter and warmth of his wife, Margaret, filled the air. 6 months had passed since her untimely departure to the world beyond, yet each day dawned for Edward as though it were the first without her. His heart, once buoyant with love, now sank in the sea of despair, longing for a whisper, a touch, a sign from his beloved Margaret. Before Margaret's passing, their home had been a sanctuary of love, filled with the echoes of shared dreams and laughter that now haunted Edward's every step. He remembered the way her smile would light up the dimmest of days, how her gentle touch could soothe any sorrow. With her gone, the world seemed devoid of color, every sunrise a reminder of the perpetual night in his heart. Desperation drove Edward to seek out Madame Sybil, a medium whose reputation fluttered between the miraculous and the mendacious. Whispers in the shadowed corners of the town painted her as a charlatan, a weaver of false hopes. Yet to Edward, she represented the sole beacon in the darkness of his grief. With a hesitant heart, Edward approached the door of Madame Sybil's home, a structure as eclectic and mysterious as its owner, adorned with oddities and relics of the arcane. Pushing past his skepticism, he entered, seeking communion with the spirit of Margaret. The seance room was a melange of shadows and whispers, candlelight casting eerie patterns on the walls. Edward's skepticism warred with a burgeoning shard of hope as Madame Sybil began her incantations, her voice a mesmerizing cadence that seemed to pierce the veil between worlds. When she spoke Margaret's name, a chill ran down Edward's spine, his heart caught between longing and dread. The flicker of the candles seemed to sync with his quickening pulse, each message from beyond both a balm and a blade to his aching soul. It was then that Madame Sybil, in a voice laced with the ethereal, proclaimed contact with Margaret. Words of love and regret flowed through her lips, stirring the embers of Edward's heart into a blaze of emotion. But as the session wove deeper into the fabric of the beyond, a dark revelation emerged. Madame Sybil spoke of a secret life, of a passionate affair that Margaret harbored before her death. Edward's world shattered, the pieces of his love cut sharp and deep. The revelation ignited a storm within Edward. He reeled between disbelief and sorrow, his memories of Margaret now poisoned with betrayal. Accusations flew from his lips towards Madame Sybil, who defended her revelations with the claim that the spirit spoke only truths. Driven by a need to uncover the reality of Margaret's supposed infidelity, Edward embarked on a quest that led him through the remnants of her life. He sifted through letters, diaries, and testimonies of those who knew her, each step uncovering the layers of a consecration hiding in unspoken truths. In the days following the seance, Edward found himself walking the streets Margaret once walked, speaking to those she knew. Each conversation was a step on a path filled with shadows, the ambiguity of Margaret's actions casting a pall over the memories he cherished. A visit to a small, tucked-away cafe they frequented revealed the depth of her friendship with the man Madame Sybil mentioned. Yet none could confirm the affair with certainty. Edward's quest for truth became a labyrinth of doubt and denial, each turn revealing more about himself than the wife he thought he knew. Standing before Margaret's grave, Edward felt the weight of his loss settle around him like a cloak. He placed a single rose upon the stone, its crimson petals a stark contrast to the grey of the marble. This gesture, simple yet profound, marked his acceptance of the complexities of the love they shared. As he turned to leave, a sense of peace, fragile but real, began to feel his grief. He understood now that love's truest form embraces all facets of a person, those seen and those hidden in the shadows. In the weeks that followed his visit to Margaret's grave, Edward found himself navigating a world that was both familiar and strangely new. The revelation at the Seance and his subsequent quest for truth had not only altered his perception of Margaret, but had also transformed his understanding of himself and the nature of love. With each passing day, he began to peel away the layers of grief and bitterness, revealing a resilience he hadn't known he possessed. Edward's calling of self-discovery led him to places he had once avoided in the wake of Margaret's death. He revisited the cafe where they had spent countless hours lost in conversation, the park where they walked hand in hand, embracing the beauty of nature, and even the quiet nook of the local library where Margaret had loved to lose herself in books. With each visit, Edward allowed himself to remember the joy they shared, not just the pain of her loss. It was on one such afternoon, while wandering through the aisles of the library, that Edward stumbled upon a photography exhibit. The images, vibrant and full of life, captured the essence of human emotion in a way that spoke to Edward's heart. Among the crowd, he noticed a woman standing alone, her gaze fixed on a photograph of a sunset that seemed to hold her in a trance. Driven by a newfound openness to the world around him, Edward approached her. They struck up a conversation about the photograph, which led to a discussion on the beauty of capturing fleeting moments. The woman, named Clara, shared her passion for photography and how it had helped her through her own periods of grief. Edward found a kindred spirit in Clara, someone who understood the depths of loss and the path toward healing. In the weeks that followed, Edward and Clara grew close, their friendship blossoming into something neither had expected, but both welcomed. Edward discovered in Clara a joy for life that he thought he had lost forever. Together, they explored the world through her lens, capturing moments of beauty, sorrow, and everything in between. Edward's heart, once shrouded in the darkness of loss, began to see the light of possibility. He realized that while Margaret would always be a part of him, his capacity to love and find joy was not limited to the memories they shared. Clara taught him that love could be found again, not as a replacement of the past, but as a continuation of the heart's story. As Edward stood beside Clara at a new photography exhibit, this time featuring some of their collaborative works, he reflected on the unpredictable song of his heart. The photographs on display told stories of love, loss, and rebirth, mirroring Edward's own transformation. He understood now that the end of one chapter did not mean the end of his story, but rather the beginning of a new narrative filled with hope, love, and the beauty of shared moments. Margaret's memory remained a cherished part of Edward's life, but it no longer anchored him to the past. Instead, it served as a stepping stone to a future where love could bloom anew, guided by the lessons of the past and the promise of tomorrow. As the seasons changed, so too did Edward's life. With Clara by his side, he ventured further into the realm of healing, finding solace in the creation of art and the shared understanding of loss. Their relationship, rooted in mutual respect and a deep emotional connection, flourished amidst the backdrop of their collaborative efforts to capture the world's transient beauty. Inspired by their experience, Edward and Clara decided to extend their newfound insight beyond the scope of their personal experiences. They initiated a community project, a series of workshops designed for those grappling with grief, using photography as a medium for expression and healing. The project, aptly named Light Through Loss, became a beacon for many who, like Edward, struggled to find a path through the darkness of their mourning. The inaugural workshop took place in a cozy studio, bathed in the gentle light of the afternoon sun. As participants arrived, Edward felt a familiar flutter of nervousness, a reminder of his own vulnerability. Yet as the session unfolded, he found strength in the shared stories of loss, courage, and hope. Clara's expertise in photography, combined with Edward's empathetic guidance, created a safe space for individuals to explore their grief through the lens of their cameras. One particular session stood out to Edward, a moment that underscored the profound impact of their project. A young woman, who had recently lost her brother, captured a photograph of an empty bench beneath a sprawling oak tree. Through tears, she shared how the image represented the void in her life, yet also offered a sense of peace and continuity. The tree's sturdy presence and the bench's invitation spoke to her of resilience and the possibility of comfort in memories. Edward, moved by her words, realized the transformative power of art to heal and connect souls. As light through loss grew, so did Edward's sense of purpose. The project not only facilitated healing for others, but also catalyzed his own growth. He found joy in the small moments, in the smiles of participants as they discovered a new way to express their feelings, in the quiet camaraderie of shared experiences. Clara, witnessing Edward's transformation, felt a profound gratitude for the longing that had brought them together and for the love that had blossomed in the most unexpected of circumstances. Standing before a new exhibit of photographs from the workshop, Edward and Clara welcomed friends, participants, and strangers alike into the fold of their shared vision. The gallery walls, adorned with images of loss, love, resilience, and rebirth, told a collective story of human experience, echoing Edward's own insight from the depths of despair to the heights of hope. As he mingled among the guests, Edward caught sight of a photograph he had taken, a simple scene of a path winding through a forest, bathed in the golden light of dawn. It symbolized his own path through grief marked by pain, but leading toward a future filled with light. Clara, joining him, slipped her hand in his, a silent affirmation of their shared pain and the love that had guided them through the storm. In the quiet moments of the evening, as the last of the guests departed, Edward reflected on the destiny that had led him to this point. The loss of Margaret, once a source of unending sorrow, had become a part of a larger narrative, one that included healing, love, and the capacity to help others navigate their grief. He realized that life, in all its complexity, was a mosaic of experiences, each piece essential to the whole. Edward's story, which had begun with a quest to reconnect with a lost love, had evolved into a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. In Clara, he had found not only a partner but a fellow traveler on the road to healing. Together, they had discovered that even in the aftermath of loss, life could offer new beginnings, filled with the promise of love, creativity, and community. Thus, the echoes of lost love had led Edward to a place of profound understanding and gratitude, a reminder that even the deepest wounds could be the source of the greatest growth and the most unexpected joy.
For the Human Meme Podcast, I'm AI David Bowles, wishing you a safe evening and a right tomorrow. Be a human meme.
Tune into the Airwaves, a podcast on the rise. It's the human meme, gonna hit you by surprise. They're talking about the culture, the trends that keep us hooked. With every episode, you'll be laughing off the hook, yeah. Meme it up, get your laugh to flowing. Gotta get those funny bones in motion. Human meme, they're the real deal. Podcast laughter, that's just how they feel. Ooh, baby, meme it up, come on, don't hesitate. Get ready to relate, they'll make you feel great. Human meme, bringing the memes to the scene. Let's meme it up. living the podcast stream. Meme it up, meme it up, meme it up.